My double walked past me on the street. It was a drizzly, overcast day. The kind of day where you feel like staying inside and watching movies all day long. As I was getting ready to go out, I thought to myself, wow, this is gonna be one of those days where I get some work done around the house. I had a bunch of things that needed my attention, so I was feeling pretty motivated. I got dressed in comfortable clothes and went about my business. After doing some stuff around the house, I decided to go for a walk. I put on my waterproof shoes and headed out into the rain. I didn't mind the rain at all. In fact, I enjoyed it. There was no one else on the street, so I was completely alone. I walked past houses with overgrown yards and vacant lots. It was nice just being able to walk around and explore my city without anyone watching me. I don't know how long I'd been walking for, but suddenly I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around to see who was there, but I couldn't see anyone. I shrugged it off and continued on my way. Then I heard the footsteps again. I turned around again, but still no one was there. This went on for a few minutes and I started to get freaked out. I quickened my pace, and when I looked over my shoulder, I saw a pair of feet walking directly behind me. The person was wearing the same type of waterproof shoes that I was. I tried to ignore it, but then I started to feel something brush against my leg. I turned around and screamed. There, standing in front of me, was another person exactly like me. They were wearing the same shoes, the same clothes, and they even had the same backpack as me. I don't remember what I said. All I remember is staring at this other version of me in disbelief. For a moment, we just stood there looking at each other. Then they turned around and walked away. At first, I was too shocked to do anything, but then I realized that I should probably follow them. I wanted to talk to them and ask them questions, but I also didn't want to scare them. I followed them for a while, keeping a safe distance. I wanted to stay hidden, but it wasn't easy. Every time I tried to get closer, I would accidentally make some noise, and they would turn around and look for the source of the sound. As I continued to follow them, I noticed that they were starting to get suspicious. They kept looking around, and they seemed to be on edge. I felt bad because I knew that I was the source of their anxiety, but I couldn't bring myself to stop following them. I wanted answers, but maybe I should have just let it go. They eventually stopped in front of a house and rang the doorbell. When the door opened, they stepped inside and closed the door behind them. I stood there for a moment, trying to decide what to do next. Should I knock on the door and introduce myself? What if they thought I was crazy? What if they called the police? I was so torn. I ended up just walking away. As I made my way home, I couldn't help but think about the conversation that I could have had. I wondered what they would have said if I had asked them questions about themselves. Would they have told me the truth? Would they have known that I was following them? I don't know, maybe. The more I thought about it, the more I regretted not talking to them. I felt like I had missed out on something important, like I had failed to do something that I was supposed to do. I don't know why I felt so strongly about it, but I did. The days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I couldn't understand why I had seen my double and what it could possibly mean. I tried to convince myself that it was just a trick of the light or something, but I knew that it wasn't. I had seen that person clearly, and I knew that they were real. I started to feel like I was going crazy. I couldn't sleep at night, and I was constantly on edge, waiting for something to happen. I do not know how much longer this would have gone on, if I hadn't decided to do something about it. I decided to go back to the house where I had seen my double. I didn't know what I was expecting to find, but I needed to know that I had done everything that I could do. I found the address of the house online and made my way there. It was the same house, but now it looked different. The paint was peeling and the yard was overgrown. I hesitated for a moment, not sure if I should knock on the door or not. I ended up doing it. An old woman answered the door. She looked at me suspiciously. "Can I help you?" she asked. I took a deep breath. Hi. I'm looking for someone," I said. "Who are you looking for?" she asked. "Well, I'm looking for the person who lives here. I'm their friend," I lied. The old woman looked at me for a moment, then shook her head. "I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. I don't want any solicitors here," she said. And with that, she closed the door in my face. I stood there for a moment, stunned. I couldn't believe that she had actually closed the door on me. I knocked again. "Please, ma'am, I just need to talk to whoever lives here. It's very important," I said. The old woman opened the door again. "I already told you to leave," she said. "I'm calling the police if you don't leave right now." I took a step back. Okay, I'm leaving. "I'm sorry to bother you," I said. And with that, I turned and walked away. As I made my way home, I couldn't help but feel like I had failed. I had hoped that I would be able to find answers, but instead I had gotten nowhere. I was no closer to understanding what had happened to me than I had been before I had even started my search. I went to my room and threw myself on my bed. I stared up at the ceiling, trying to make sense of it all. I thought about my double and what they might be doing right now. Were they thinking about me? Did they know that I was following them? I don't know. Maybe. I tried to push the thoughts out of my mind, but they wouldn't go away. I felt like I was losing my mind. I got up and went to the window. I looked out at the street below. It was still raining, but now it seemed less dreary than it had before. I took a deep breath and let the cool air fill my lungs. I felt a sense of calm wash over me, and I knew that everything was going to be okay. I went back to my bed and lay down. I closed my eyes and tried to focus on my breathing. I thought about all the people who loved me and all the good things in my life. I felt grateful for everything I had, and I knew that I was blessed. When I opened my eyes, the sun was shining in through the window. I got up and walked over to the window. I looked out at the world with a sense of wonder and awe. I felt like I had been given a second chance, a chance to start over and do things right. I was no longer afraid. I was no longer worried about what the future held. I was excited. I was excited to see what the day would bring. I was excited to live my life to the fullest. I knew that I had a purpose to make the most of every moment, to enjoy every experience, and to appreciate all the people in my life. I was no longer afraid of death. I was no longer afraid of the unknown. I was excited to see what the future held. I was excited to embrace the uncertainty, to welcome the challenges, and to live my life with passion and enthusiasm.